This is my couch. And this is my moneymaker. But seriously, have a spare room? Ever thought about renting it out for some extra cash via short-term vacation rental websites? It's a great way to help pay your mortgage or chip away at debt, as long as you're willing to have the occasional house guest. Today, I'm chatting with YouTuber and entrepreneur Max Maxwell. We'll talk about some of our favorite professional tips on how to get the most money from your short-term vacation rentals. I'm Gabe Bolt, here to show you the small shifts that you can make in your life that will lead to a huge impact in your financial future. This is Big Change. There are must-visit tourist destinations all over America, not to mention music festivals and art fairs, bowl games, and marathons. People want to visit, and they need somewhere to stay. If your neighborhood is safe and sought after, you can make a lot of extra cash from part-time guests in your short-term vacation rental. Now, with any venture, there are risks and there are rewards. An obvious risk, you might get a really sloppy guest, but that's not usually a problem, and that is what the rating system is for. But with strangers coming to stay, you're responsible for keeping your place clean and up to code, in good repair, so no slacking when it comes to lawn care or snow shoveling. But trust me, the rewards can be worth it. Personally, I ran a short-term vacation rental in my previous place, and I took all of the money from those rentals, and that's what allowed me to save up for the down payment on the place where I am now. And I'm not the only one who figured this out. Today, I am talking with Max Maxwell, a serial entrepreneur who crunched the numbers and saw for himself just how much you can profit with room rentals. Well, Max, thank you so much for coming on the show. I am super excited to talk to you today.
I'm excited to be here.
How did you get into short-term vacation rentals?
I went to short-term rentals when I was traveling a lot. And so with that, I decided, hey, look, I want to see if I can try my hand on it. And I didn't think I was in the best city for it. And it turned out to be lovely. I was more people traveling to my city than I thought. And it's just been fun. It's cool because every property is different.
So I know you got your first one. It was originally going to be a flip, and then you decided to go a different way with it. How did that all happen?
I was gonna flip the property, and I looked at the profit that I can get from a flip, and this was like one of the properties that I had was in a real great area. It was near one of our parks where people go for like weddings, and it was also a golf course. And so I said, you know what? Let me do some research to see if this is gonna be a good, short-term rental. And turned out there's a lot of tools out there that you can use to just evaluate a property. And bang, it turned out to be something that was good. And we themed it something different, and and until this day we still have that one.
That's awesome. I know when I got started, I was reading a bunch of books and listening to podcasts. How did you kind of learn to run the whole thing? Was it just trial and error, or were you like reading stuff as well?
I think I'm like you. It was a little bit of trial and error, but once I become obsessed on a topic, it becomes something that I'm on every single day. And so through videos online, through listening to different podcasts, I was able to start to formulate some of my own formulas. And then there is definitely the trial and error.
Yeah, I totally agree. I try to learn from other people's mistakes as much as possible. Exactly. So I can just work smarter and not harder. What is it that you think attracts people to your rental? Is it, the location, the amenities? Like, what is it about it?
It's one, the location's important, right? And there's always not a hotel on every corner where somebody wants to be. Sometimes there's a distance you have to travel, but the amenities are just important, right? And so having a themed short-term rental actually increases, your bookings. You gotta have good Wi-Fi. And now these days, more than ever, a lot of people don't want to just deal with checking into a place. So having an automated check-in process really, really helps as well too.
Yeah, I definitely think that's super important, making it as simple for people as possible, because I've had it where it wasn't set up correctly and people are calling at 10 o'clock at night trying to figure out how to get in. So I definitely agree with that. I know you mentioned Wi-Fi before. What are some other necessities for a short-term vacation rental?
You definitely want to have great towels. I know it sounds simple, but great towels, great pillows, automatic check-in, Wi-Fi, and the Wi-Fi code needs to be everywhere. Then if you can add simple things to your short-term rental, like a bike, a couple bikes. Some people would take a bike and go on a stroll. Now, I do like to go above and beyond and do things like, you know, if a guest is staying for a certain amount of days, I'll, you know, make sure that chocolates are there, or, champagne or something like that if they're of age. And just, it's kind of like this special thing, but it doesn't cost that much to wow somebody.
For myself, when I was getting started, the first couple nights I either let my friends stay in one or stayed in one myself, just to find out oh, I don't have a pan. I don't have, just some of the basic things that you don't really think about, but there's a lot of stuff that does go into it.
Exactly.
So those are some of the things that you do need. What about things that you don't need?
I've tried to provide like laptops. A lot of people don't use that. There's a bigger list of things you do need versus a shorter list of things that you don't need. You can go as extravagant as you want, but you have to meet like the basic necessities. And you really got to think about, if it's you yourself staying out somewhere on vacation, what are the things that you want? What's going to make it interesting? So the list of things you don't really need, you don't really need to go above and beyond, but it just helps your business. You're investing into yourself and your business and your rentals, and you want repeat customers. So the list of things you don't need, I guess, is kind of short. Yeah.
How do you furnish your vacation rentals? Do you buy everything new or used? What's your process?
Once you pick a theme into a short-term rental, then you go out and you try to find the necessary furniture. Believe it or not, you can recondition a lot of furniture. I would say through just the neighborhoods. There's yard sales actually still work. You can find a good piece of furniture in a yard sale, and those are your more expensive things. But now these days, mattresses and beds are so cheap that you really don't have to go. You definitely don't want to buy that used. You can buy new stuff and furnish a whole house for a few $1,000s.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. We did the same thing. Try to get some reasonably priced things. You can get a $20 piece of furniture instead of $300 piece of furniture, and it looks like 98% is good. So I definitely agree with that. How important is bookkeeping?
You just need to know your numbers. If you don't know your numbers in any business that you have, you don't actually have a business. These numbers that you have, it's important because you can take the income that you're getting from your short-term rentals, you can use that when it comes to getting a mortgage down the road and wanting to refinance your house and things like that. So it's important to have those numbers, because when you go to qualify to get that, you're going to be able to show that. It's going to make the qualification process just a lot easier.
So how do you try to maximize your rental to make the most money that you can from it?
There are a lot of tools that you can use to help automate the pricing. That's one thing. You don't want to keep the same price. You don't want to be the cheapest. You don't want to be the most expensive. And you want to reward people for staying multiple days, because what a very important thing with any short-term rental is the occupancy rate. And if you can see that your area is around 75%, you want to be there or better. And you do that by doing your own marketing outside of any of the websites you can list it on. You definitely want to ask your guests for reviews, not only through the messaging portal, but you want to have a conversation with them and say, hey, look, you do that, I can give you 10% on your next booking when you come to town, which is another way to get repeat business. And so I think just taking care of your clients, your customers, and putting your passion into the place is mostly important to maximize, because believe it or not, the best marketing is still the good word.
Yeah, I totally agree. There is something to be said for having a good personal connection with the person who's coming and not treating them just like a commodity, but actually like a person, and that leads to a lot happier clients.
Exactly.
What are some best practices that you've learned?
Some of the best practices that I've learned in the short-term rentals is get professional photos. Also, you want to use every description possible. Be very descriptive in you explaining where this short-term rental is, what's the benefits, what it's close to. And sometimes people browse through and can just make a decision on what you're saying. Like, hey, this is close to the stadium, this is close to here. You can enjoy a nice walk along this path, this river, this. And some people say, oh, that's a good idea. I didn't think about that. Let me stay at this short-term rental here. Easy check-in, right? You want to automate the check-in process. That's a must. And making everything simple as possible, but also making sure everything that they need, the amenities are there. You're going to have a successful business. It's actually pretty easy to do this business.
Yeah, I totally agree. Even if you just have one room in your house, kind of like I did, treating it like a business and not just something casual can definitely save you a lot of headaches in the future.
Even bringing that up, I mean, that in itself is kind of like a house hack for you to, get the income coming from an extra bedroom that you have in your house. And you can save that money, and that money can just be used something different. You can get another mortgage and buy another house or something like that. And so it doesn't have to start off with you being able to just go out and purchase a house or, do rental arbitrage or anything like that. You can literally rent an extra room in your house and treat it just like a business. Save that money, add that money, invest that money, and you're going to be qualified to be able to buy something and get a mortgage to get something else. I mean, with the rates that we have these days, you'd be silly not to go out and get a mortgage to be able to get more properties.
Yeah, that's exactly what I did. My brother has done that. We've done short-term rentals, have bought us our next bigger, nicer properties, and trying to take advantage of everything that's going on right now. So it's been really cool, and it's been a really powerful tool for us. So we've talked about some of the best practices, and those were some great tips, but what about the other direction? What are some shady practices that we should probably stay away from if you're new?
So you definitely want to be honest with how many people can stay in your short-term rental. I've seen people list that 8 people can sleep and they're trying to put 2 people on a twin bed. It just doesn't work like that, and you don't want to disappoint your guests. You're going to get bad reviews. And just don't be extra cheap when it comes to small things. I mean, listen, you and I'm sure we all like good towels. Don't do that, and make sure your property's actually safe.
Yeah, I agree. And if you are trying to be a little shady, it's probably not going to last very long, like a couple weeks and a couple bad reviews and you're pretty much done for. So.
Exactly. They're going to get rid of you.
So what are your long-term real estate management plans?
For us is to be able to build a portfolio of these really across the country. And I want to start stepping my foot into different states and being able to, because since we've automated the process in our backyard, we feel like it's just as easy to be able to do it, 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 miles away. And so over the next couple of years, we're going to be growing our portfolio more and more and more, and hopefully get into some real cool cities so that even I can visit myself and stay in one of my own properties.
I love it. Visit yourself. It sounds amazing. It is the dream. Well, Max, thank you so much for coming on. It was awesome talking with you. It was some great tips.
Thank you so much. This was fun. I enjoyed it.
I really like that tip about making sure that your listing has the basics, including how close it is to public transportation. And adding a little extra info about amenities or local tourist sites will always draw more clicks. But the best tip, if you rent out your home through a short-term rental website, you can count that income towards your qualification when getting a refinance on your primary property through Fannie Mae. Being able to add any amount of income from rentals will lower your debt to income ratio and could increase your ability to qualify for better mortgage terms. Be aware this is only available on rate and term and cash out refinances for 1 to 4 unit primary properties. To use your rental income, you'll have to prove that the money is actually real. You'll need 2 documents, 2 years of signed tax returns with Schedule E or Schedule C attached, and a host report. In order to qualify, you'll have to have at least a 12-month history of rental income through your short-term vacation rental. Plus, a bonus advantage, you're entitled to tax deductions on repairs and insurance if you rent out your home for at least 14 days per year. I am not a tax specialist, so consult a professional if you're not sure whether something's deductible. You should also consult rental websites before you even get started. You want to know what rooms are going for in your area. What's the average price per night? How many bedrooms and bathrooms are common in your area? How many vacancies are currently on the market? Vacancies and rental prices will directly affect your bottom line. You need to price competitively, but you also need to charge enough rent to make money. So what's your first simple step? See what the rental market is like in your area and get a sense of what your spare room is actually worth. Then head over to Rocket Mortgage to see if a cash out refinance can help you afford to spruce up that spare room. Thank you to Max Maxwell for coming on the show. If you guys want to see more episodes, you can click right over there, and you can also like and subscribe down below for more big change.